York. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
So we hear a lot these days about mental health. Today is World Mental Health Day. If you're the strong friend, check on your friends going through something. Or if you're not feeling so strong, call your strong friend for a convo. Reach out.
Yeah.
Or seek professional help. Don't be ashamed, man. Even if that question floats through your brain, like, yo, I'm not good, man. I'm not thinking right. I'm not thinking clear. Make that phone call. Here in New York City, you have Thrive NYC. It's free mental health services. The mayor don't talk to us anymore. Him and his wife just had an event the other day.
I heard about this.
It was Hispanic Heritage Month. They didn't even call Laura Stiles, but that's a different conversation. They have an amazing program called Thrive
It
NYC.
happened last night.
Oh, it was last night.
Laura felt away.
I was
she
like,
was
wow, the
tight.
shade. Because I feel like we've supported them.
You've been to all their events.
Yes, and I've been
Yeah.
very supportive of them.
Nah, the NYCHA thing got crazy.
They were like,
We
nah.
was honest about them screwing up, and
Now, Laura,
now you kicked out.
Now
Yeah.
you've lost your political connect.
That's it.
It's gone now.
I was like,
we had a hookup.
wow, the shade.
We still got Tish James. We still good.
True.
We still good with
Hopefully.
Tish.
We'll see if we can get her on the phone when she's elected.
But yeah, World Mental Health Day.
I think it's important when talking about mental health to express a sentiment. You guys know I've always been very forthright talking about mental health because being a Jew from the suburbs, therapy and antidepressants, all these conversations have been in my life since I was like 8. I first went to therapy when I was like 8 because I got scared of having sleepovers. After I went to sleepaway camp and cried for 2 weeks straight, I came home and wouldn't go to sleepover anymore. So my friends would like have birthday parties and I would be like, nope, not going. Yeah. And my parents were like, all right, you're going to therapy.
Yeah, we gotta work.
We
this
gotta
out.
work. You gotta be able to leave the house and go sleep at a friend's house. So I went to therapy for like, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. I don't remember what it was, but it fixed it. And then I kept seeing the guy for a while. Anyways, I'm very open and think people should be very open to the idea of therapy. But I do think it's important to recognize.
This is key, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this from somebody experienced, a white guy from the suburbs. They know.
Just because you're an a-hole doesn't mean you have a mental health issue.
Ooh, key.
Sometimes the answer is you're just an a-hole.
Bad guy.
Sometimes the answer is just bad guy. And these days, the scapegoating on mental health drives me bonkers. And it cheapens it for people who really do have issues. Like people are like, I have an anxiety problem. Wait, you get anxious before you have a big event?
It's normal.
That's called your body working. That's your brain working. Anxiety is a real thing where people have panic attacks and get really upset and panicky. Heart rate flying. Go to the doctor. Like it's not just like, oh, sometimes I get really stressed. I just think it's important that we recognize that there are layers to it and appreciate the people who really have to deal with things. Because some people out here now, they use it as a cute part of their brand to be like, oh, I deal with anxiety and I can help you too. You don't do anything, bro. You just live life. There are people out here who have real
Maybe there's a
issues.
mental health professional listening in right now. Because we've had one on before because we were trying to find how to tell if Kanye West is just an a-hole or he's really suffering a mental health thing. Because he will be like, yo, my mental health issues are my superpower. I'm off my meds. And people will be like, wait, no.
He's like a combo. You can be both.
You can be both, but when you make the choice to be off your meds because you think it's your superpower, you're an a-hole. It's not a superpower. Because I have had times when I was off meds and my wife would be like, hey, you have a really sharp edge right now. Like you're getting really, you have a real edge that you don't normally have. When was the last time you took your medicine? I'm like, shut up, I just took it. She'd be like, when did you just take it? I'm like, all you do is attack me. She'd be like, when did you just take it? And I'm like, it's been like 3 days. She's like, that's what I'm talking about. Why?
Yeah, it's hard because I have a friend too that takes meds, and when she's particularly a big biatch, I'm like, I ask her about it too, and I recently started asking because before I was like, let me not touch on the subject, And that's what it is when she was off her meds. But is that an excuse for her to treat me like crap?
No, it's not. Especially when you have an issue and you've been diagnosed and you have medication to help you. It's like Pete Davidson said on SNL. Take your meds, man. Just choosing not to because it's your superpower. How's it been working out?
It's interesting, too, as somebody, my mom suffered with some depression and was on meds, and I didn't understand it at the time and learned from it through her. But it is a slippery slope, right? It is hard for people to define and understand if they haven't dealt with it or when it's appropriate to call somebody on their BS, right? It sounds like it's a hard line, right?
Yeah, I think it is. But I mean, you get to know someone over years. And like in the case of Kanye, what always bothered me was like, why doesn't his wife and his family who understands his issues say, hey, bro, you'd be doing better right now if you were just in therapy and taking your medicine. You shouldn't just be out here wilding out. It's not good. I think it's hard, Ebro, when you're first getting diagnosed. Mm-hmm. But, like once for example, my dad had a mental health breakdown in like 1984, I think it was, where he like sat on our front porch for like 6 weeks. Literally, they didn't talk to us, lost it.
Wow.
Because of this product that he used as a kid. And this random product, like 300 people who had used this specific product around that time all suffered from a mental breakdown at the same time. Wow. I always forget what the product was, which is weird. So my dad spent like 6 weeks being really messed up. And from that point on, got on pretty serious antidepressants, either Zoloft or Prozac. He's taken different ones over the years because you change over time, and sometimes you require different things as your brain gets used to certain chemicals. But my dad said back in the day, at some point, maybe 15 years in, so you're talking like 2000, whatever it was, my dad went on a trip somewhere and forgot his medicine. And he was like, I'll be okay. And he said within 48 hours, he felt a darkness creeping into his mind that had never been there in the 15 years prior. And he wasn't like, I need to take this head on. He's like, no, I have children and a life. I need to get home and get back on my medicine. And he's never had a problem again. You have to be committed to it. You can't just kind of treat it like it's a toy.
And see, in my house, my dad and mom split up when I was 5. But when I was born, my dad was in jail. And they gave him 28 shock treatments. So when he came home, he was a vegetable for a year and a half.
A vegetable, like really just laid there?
Just laid there. And
Yo, we should have gotten your dad together and my dad together when they were both doing
that. Yeah, that probably wouldn't have worked out.
Could have just laid there together.
And but not once did I see my dad actually go get therapy, right? Or actually deal with the trauma of being in prison 3 different times, 4 different times, right? Or the violence of, fighting cops and dealing with all that stuff during the, black nationalist era or getting shock treatment. So sometimes my dad would have episodes where he would just sit there and talk to himself, and I would just see him talking to himself. But I wasn't really old enough or equipped as a kid to be like, yo, Dad, you should go see somebody, because that just wasn't normal. You know what I mean? But it's hearing you guys discuss what, how you address it. Like, my dad was super violent and definitely probably needed something, but just it wasn't culturally normal.
Because that's the same thing happened with my dad. My dad has really bad epilepsy and he's bipolar. And he was okay with the epilepsy. He took medication for the epilepsy, but he did not want to seek any kind of therapy, and he was very against the bipolar medication, which was super weird.
And that bipolar, you're talking about something that really needs to be treated. I mean, that's like you can't really handle that on your own.
Today is World Mental Health Day. We're discussing this with y'all, obviously, because I'm sure in your lives, there is somebody that you care about that probably needs to be checked on, or maybe it's you yourself.
Sure.
And you shouldn't be embarrassed by it, because the trauma we experience, I see some people very affected just by social media.
Mm-hmm. The conversation of mental health is brand new, and of therapy is new.
For a lot of people, a lot of people.
From where we come from, that's, like you said, it wasn't a thing. Your father, had issues. My father, everybody who grew up
everything in my family was prey on it.
Yeah.
And I sit here right now like,
therapy.
Well, that didn't work out for a lot of people. You probably needed another layer to that.
Right. A professional.
The prayer and the professional.
Yeah, and a lot of times you don't have the money. So you like, I'm going to pay for somebody so I can tell them my problems.
Well, look, Thrive NYC, look it up, man. New York City offers it for free.
That's great.
It's beautiful.
I respect the mayor, even though he no longer respects us.
He might respect us. He just don't want to come catch his heat.
Or invite us to his parties.
Damn.